Is a multifamily investing live stream. I'm Bill Gross, and I co-host this from time to time with Annabelle Pacheco. And so today I'll be running it. And really excited today, we have from the great state of Florida, my former home state for a period of time, and where I go and visit regularly, Kristine Flook, who is with Urbanize Properties, as a guest, talk to us about multifamily property. Hey, Kristine, welcome to our call today.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I can add some value to your audience.
I'm sure you will. So give us a little background about you personally, though. Where did you grow up, and how did you get into real estate?
I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, and
Jax.
we were on the, yeah, I know, right? Totally different than what it was back then. And then I graduated high school in Houston, Texas, and then from there I moved over to Orlando. And then from there, in 1999, I moved over in Miami, and I've been in real estate since 2004.
Wow. What part of Miami are you in?
I am in the area just over the bridge called Biscayne Boulevard. So I'm very close to the beach. And that area is called Upper East Side, close to Design District, Midtown, Wynwood.
Very nice. I used to live in Florida. As I tell people, Florida is like my ex-girlfriend. I'm not allowed to talk about her in front of my wife. So I used to live in Boca. So
But
I know a little bit of Florida.
Right?
I used to live there, and my best friend actually lives in Jacksonville, or moved to Jacksonville. I keep saying my best friend moved to, because one best friend moved here, then the next one moved to Jacksonville, and the next one's moving to Hollywood, Florida, and actually Dania, Florida. So I have my best friend is like the last one who's here in California because they're all leaving. So tell me about, how'd you get into commercial real estate or multifamily in particular?
Excellent question. So I was starting out residential in 2004, and about 2006 is when I started to venture into multifamily. I think it started out mostly with like smaller multifamily, 4, 6, 10, 12 units as a real estate agent selling those types of assets. And it's kind of gravitated towards that, let's call it asset class. And from there, it grew into obviously other asset classes, but obviously it grew into larger assets and in different areas. Working here in Miami, obviously, just like California, you have your submarkets. Hialeah's one, it's blue collar worker. Just recently did a 24 unit building there. Other obviously market areas, Little Havana, Hollywood, like you mentioned, Fort Lauderdale. And just as a recent, well, towards the summer of last year, we did 384 units in Daytona Beach.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. I was in Daytona Beach once to see the Blue Angels and see the race. So love Daytona Beach.
You guys got some bunches in Florida all over, huh?
They still drive cars on the beach in Daytona?
Yes, they do.
It's amazing. As a California boy, we love going to the beaches here, but there they drive their cars on the beach or the trucks and picnic right there on the beach.
I remember that too, yeah. I remember when I used to go when I was younger.
So really, we want to talk about two parts to your business if we can today. Number one is kind of the product offering. What types of things do you offer to investors? We have people here who are looking to invest, particularly out of state, particularly attractive in the state of Florida, given the returns being different than they are here in Los Angeles and Southern California. And then second, we'll talk a little bit about your business, how you run it, how you built it, and for people who want to build a similar business in their market. So let's talk about the kind of properties. How do you offer what you do to clients and investors, or is it something you do on your own? Are you syndicating, or how do you bring your product to the market?
Another great question. I just learned about syndications actually in 2019, and being in real estate and being in commercial real estate since 2006, and have been investing since 2015. And this whole word came up, and I was like, what? GP, LP, waterfalls, all these different structures, and passive investment, and larger apartment buildings, and wow, this is exciting. And so 2019 was my first, let's call it, put my toe in the water on syndications. It was a 529 unit building in Dallas. Just did a full cycle, which basically means you buy the property, you exercise your business plan, create the value add, and then, obviously leave a little meat on the bone for the next buyer. And that just closed actually in May. It was a REIT that came in and bought that property along with about 2 other properties, and it was about 1,400 units that I think the REIT recently took down. So like I said, full cycle in May. In between that time, there was obviously monthly distributions. You got your initial capital back, and obviously a profit. So I would say, to answer your question about what we offer, most of what Urbanize Properties, which has been around since 2015, we offer mostly off-market properties to our clients. And a lot of like what you and I kind of come from the background on, Bill, is the Mike Ferry system. And that's what I learned in 2006. And just getting on the phone and looking for motivated sellers, trying to align price and terms between parties, and hopefully sign here, press hard, pink copy's yours, right? And that's kind of just what we offer, is working off market properties. Annabelle and I recently connected through multifamily. And when she did make trips down here in Miami, we were able to try to meet up and talk about different properties. As far as syndications, I mean, I'm always being presented with opportunities. I'm working on one right now. It's a different asset class. It's an RV park in Tallahassee as a syndication. But again, like I mentioned, multifamily is one of the asset classes that we focus on. And what is it we offer here? I think, just, it kind of can just be basic stuff, right? Being a professional, being your word, being integrity, showing up with, real properties with real numbers and not inflated, let's call it offering memorandums.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's kind of gotten us so far into the space that we have been, and being around for as long as we have. You're competing against the big boys, but we're a boutique firm and we make it happen.
So if somebody wanted to, can we walk through kind of I see the deal you closed on your website in Daytona Beach. Can we walk through that a little bit and talk about the numbers, or give some high-level numbers to that project, review it?
I can give you the best that I do know, because that particular property was a recapitalization opportunity. I can go off on how we sourced the deal. It was a off-market operator, got in touch with them, find out if they wanted to sell, and it was, hey, we're not looking to sell, but we've got an equity fund that's looking to remove themselves from the property, close out the fund, and we need another equity person to replace it. So went out and made a few phone calls, and next thing you know, we were able to put the deal together. And come to find out, whenever we got on a conference call, the equity fund that I brought into the group actually wanted to do business with this operator for over 7 years. And how wonderful is that? So
Wow.
Next thing you know, it was like, hey, I remember meeting you at a business breakfast, and next thing you know, obviously they went and checked all their boxes to make sure they were aligned with their synergies and doing the deal together. So in that particular deal, it closed, I believe, last July or August. And again, it was a recapitalization opportunity. So it was just fantastic to be able to get in front of that operator and know that, hey, when I'm emailing you, this is where we were and there's value in the future. So since then, I've been bringing them opportunities and trying to sell some of their assets too.
It's a small world, isn't it, this business?
It is. And then I wound up meeting the operator at IMN event, which is a nationwide multifamily, as well as other things that they offer, family office events, short-term rentals, different things. But anyway, I wound up meeting the operator in February. And specifically went to the event because I knew he was going to be one of the speakers, so I could introduce myself.
Wow, good for you. When you talk about generating business and talk to people looking for off-market deals, do you spend some amount of time daily prospecting for business, or what do you do to generate those leads?
Well, there's a Mike Ferry way, which is to do it first thing in the morning. As they say, your income producing activities, do them first thing in the morning, and then, your lead follow up and going on appointments. So I would say most of the day is generating, income producing activities.
Right.
I would say most of the morning. You know what? It's all throughout the day. You never know. I mean, an opportunity pops up and it's like, okay, get on the phone, talk to 5, 7, 8, 12 people, different opportunities. Like right now, there's a 14-unit building that I'm working on in an area called Hollywood, off market. So it's not an email blast kind of opportunity. So you got to be strategic who you're talking to, right? Especially when you're working off market, you got to make sure that you're talking to the right people.
Yeah. And I mean, you can talk to the wrong people, but you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to eventually have to get to the right people to get paid.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm the same with my business. I try to, spend my workday time as much as I can generating new business. And it's amazing how much I can get done. I tell myself I'm not going to do any paperwork till after 5. Now with computers and electronic forms, I can do in 10 minutes what used to take me an hour to do, CMAs and contracts and such. So it's just amazing when I force myself to during the day to talk to people, I can be more productive in generating business. So is there particular niches or particular areas that you work on to generate the business, or is it just more a matter of, are you working in networking of groups you already have and going through your database, or what are you doing to generate business?
Yeah, it's a combination of different things. I think since COVID, we kind of had to create a different reach in how we were talking to people. I mean, obviously Zoom, is what it is today. And that gentleman's sitting on top of the world right now, I guess, with that. And then obviously other apps came in for streaming and whatnot. But yeah, for sure, LinkedIn's a great source that I've connected in networking. I have been traveling since COVID. So going to multifamily events has allowed me to get my face out there. And so when I, bump into people, let's call it on social media or on Zooms, that's another way of, prospecting, I guess, right? Still the same old, pick up the phone, look up telephone numbers, contact them. And then obviously, as you and I know through time, that connecting with real estate agents that have off-market properties or have properties that you might work on. I mean, hey, you're calling about ABC 123 Street, and hey, it's not just about that one. What else do you have coming in the pipeline? So you definitely want to stretch those opportunities.
Well, that's why we do these calls, is to network with agents. Within our company, we have a network. Outside our company, we're always looking to add more people in network. Like Furry has a network, Grant Cardone has a network. So we're constantly trying to touch with people that we know and can meet along the way. So I get asked all the time by my clients, where can I invest money? I have $50,000, $100,000. What do you tell clients? If I called you today and I'm a past client, maybe you sold me a house, you sold me a rental property or some sort. I said, I have more cash I know what to do with. I'm tired of the stock market. Where do you come up with those opportunities regularly? Do you have them sit by and wait for something, or do you have anything you're offering these days?
Great question. I mean, listen, I have a variety of things. I mean, are you looking for like a 6 months in and out? Are you looking to put your money and just let it sit for 3 or 5 years in an opportunity? That will do distributions on monthly or quarterly.
Yeah.
And then,
let's talk about what's a 3 or 5 year hold type thing, cash flow, that kind of investment. What would you offer somebody like that who asks for that?
Well, like I just mentioned a few minutes ago, I've got an RV park that I'm working on as a syndication. It's a 65 pad RV park in Tallahassee with a value add component to add about 25 to 40 extra spaces. It also has a commercial on the front street. It also has a commercial retail space there that the tenants obviously it's just not maximizing the use and obviously highest and best and obviously maximizing the NOI return. That's an opportunity that I've been sharing with people, say in the last, 3 or 4 weeks. Someone interested in that, I'm happy to discuss. There's some groups I've already, it's called, done some syndications with. That is a mixture of Georgia, Decatur, Georgia. That was over like 250 units. Another syndication that I'm in is in Evansville, Indiana. Another JV opportunity that I'm in right now is 4 acres of land in Canyon Lake, Texas. We bought that. My niece is a licensed agent in that market, and I was able to bring the 4 acres to my partners, and we dropped shipping containers there and turning them into short-term rentals along the building. Yeah, it's a really unique concept, and we also built 9 tiny little homes. So just finalizing the infrastructure on that, and again, another income stream. Everything's based on, I guess, on your goals. But listen, I have people all the time hitting me up. Hey, do you know any private money lenders? So like I said, if you want to kind of go the quick in and out, but if you want the 3 to 5 years, I have people that I've, let's call it sourced, feel comfortable with, knowing that my investment would be there with them. And, with the right team and the right operator with successful track record.
So let's talk a little bit about the trailer park or RV park. I forgot
RV park in Tallahassee, yeah.
Yeah, in Tallahassee, which is the state capital of Florida.
Yes.
And Tallahassee is also where Florida State University is located, being the state capital.
45,000 students. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the center part of the top part of Florida. So it's kind of midway between Jacksonville on one coast and the Panhandle on the other side. Tell us a little bit about the project. If you give us some high level, do you have something you can share online with us?
I don't have anything. It's a partner of mine that brought it to me, and they've been kind of asking me to help. Hey, people that are looking to invest and whatnot. But listen, if someone's interested, I can always throw in, my email in the chat. I do see a question in there. I can throw my email in there, and if somebody's interested, I'm happy to, do a
Yeah,
one-on-one.
we'll do it. We'll got your contact information at the end, but urbanizeproperties.com, URBANIZE properties, PROPERTIES.com is the website, and there's all kinds of contact information there. So we do have a question in the chat box, which I think is really good. Oh, I'm sorry, and you put your email in as well, which is Flook, your last name, .Kristine with a K, KRISTINE @gmail.com, and we'll put that in the show notes as well. And so we do have a question from GK, which is, how do you balance working for your clients as an agent and hunting deals for your own portfolio? And I think there's two aspects of that. One is, are you looking for the best deals for yourself and selling the scraps, or are you doing a bit of both? Or maybe you have an appetite for certain things, you don't have an appetite for things that come across your way. How do you manage that?
I would say I've been more transactional real estate agent over the years, and since I became into the investing and the syndication side, I've kind of obviously, look, you leave that window open. I do have a fiduciary agreement with my clients. I'm not trying to two-side anything. I'm very an open book and upfront. I do have people, like I said, that reach out to me all the time. Hey, have you come across anything in Florida? So I'm kind of keeping a checklist on all who those people are. Matter of fact, I just had a new conversation with a gentleman that's over in the Davie area. Bill, you and I were talking about earlier that he's taken down some deals but wants to do some things in Florida. So how to answer that directly is I have clients that have a specific want and need, and I will hunt for that. And let's just say for some reason they pass on it, and I think there's enough meat on the bone, then I'll look at it, do some underwriting. Underwriting is probably not my forte, but I do have people that I would say, hey, if we need to take a deeper look into this that I trust, that I can bring it to them and say, hey, look, I've got something, it's off market, I'm direct to an owner, and here's A, B, C, D, E, F, G about it. And what do you think about it if we want to take a little deeper look? But the question, I'm definitely fiduciary, and that is number one, and I don't mess with that at all. Obviously, you always have to disclose, Mr. Owner, I'm a real estate agent, but I'm also a principal. So I hope I'm answering that correctly.
I think you are. Yeah. Look, as a real estate agent, like personally, I run a business. I list, primarily and sell probate legal property. Once in a while, I find something I want to buy on my own, but for the most part, I'm not buying to fix property in Los Angeles and resell it. I do that for customers. I like to invest in partnerships in Florida and Texas, and so I take my extra money. I'm always looking for deals in those areas.
Right. Have you done syndication in Texas or Florida?
As a limited partner, I'm not syndicating. I'm just, my life is my business is pretty wild in Los Angeles, and I'm doing a good business. Yeah. So I like my money just to work for me quietly, and I like to get a quarterly check or actually a deposit notice email from my account and leave it at that. So I'm not looking for any real excitement in my investment.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, and that's another thing, when the question, you've got to kind of identify, hey, what it is you want to do. Are you passive, or do you have some kind of value you want to bring to the table? Yeah.
Just for me personally, I mean, I know I've done a couple lipstick flips. The last one I did, and I made good money on it. Where I bought it, and because it was quick, I could junk it out, clean it out, put it back in the market, make about $100,000. But I have to be honest with you, I was so involved in that for that 45-day period of time. It just was distracting from my business, and so for me, it just isn't. I love making the money. It just doesn't fit for me given my lifestyle and what I do. So I rather make my real estate grow and then get more money to put in the real estate portfolio. So that's the other question then, is to ask, how do you balance your time? How do you balance your time as far as, so it sounds like you run a real estate business and then your investments are kind of out of the extra money as well. It sounds like you're not looking for investments first, you're really looking for transactions first.
I would say that's first, even though I want to change that up as I'm realizing more and more. Look, when you become in this business for as many years as you do, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm only as good as my last deal. So I got to keep hunting for deals, and I'm only as good as my last thing that I've sold, property that I've sold my client. So until I keep bringing deals to my client, I'm not really in front of them. And unless you're bringing up something that's, hey, whatever sign of appreciation or whatever, but you're always got to be front and center with them, right? So,
Well,
yeah,
look, if you put enough money away, at some point that starts to cover your expenses, and then all I'm
absolutely,
working for now is putting more money into that quarterly income stream.
exactly,
And I do think I think I came out of the Mike Ferry system too, and one of the fallacies there is you end up being very, very short-term focus on transactions. I think that you have the skill. I had the skills as a result of that to build a business, and so now a lot of my business is, I have Annabelle. I have 31 people on my team, so I have a business that if I took time off or if I left it, it would still generate business, and that's the goal of
absolutely.
any business, is to run something that has some equity to it in the long run. So.
Right, and then it can run on your own. I mean, listen, Urbanize Properties is a boutique. It's me and the broker. Her name's Janet, and we've had people that's reached out to us. Matter of fact, today that wanted to, hey, I'm in a bigger outfit as far as commercial,
Yeah.
and they're not really giving me anything that I'm not doing on my own.
Right.
And so, working for a boutique firm, yeah, I get it. Why they kind of want that, I guess, intimate, more approach as far as, because I mean, listen, you go to bigger companies and they promise you the sun, the moon, the stars, and you really don't get all of that,
Well, you have to fit. I think everybody has to find the pieces they need of the puzzle. It's not everybody has a little
Absolutely.
different requirements, and some people need an office, and some people need this, and they need that, and those are things you have to find.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so I'm sure you, like we do, get people who say they want to invest, and then you show them something, and then you find out they're just not really ready to pull the trigger. What do you say to that first time investor? I mean, for me, it's been a great opportunity, and it's just, I love, the certain months of the year, after the quarter ends, the next month or so, August is the month I seem to get more checks than any other from different investments. What do you tell somebody to get started in the process, whether it be owning rental property or whether it be investing in a syndication with you? What do you recommend them to do to get that first step to get started?
First thing I would suggest is figure out what market you want to be in. People do remote investing. People do remote rehabs. People, have remote property managers. There's definitely virtual ways to be able to, I guess, like you said, build your portfolio. I would definitely say the first thing is your market, and then assemble your team together. Figure out who's a couple, 3, 5, 10 real estate agents you can work there with. And then obviously figure out what your budget is. And if you're going for bank debt or whether you're doing a hard money, figure out, what you've got there. Figure out if you got friends and family that are willing to come along the ride with you. If they've got money to invest with you. So maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm just buying single family, but next thing you know, you can buy 10 units together.
I always tell people, if you have a deal, there's money behind it. There's more money. There's deals.
Yeah,
Find
you
a
always
deal.
get that question, right? The deal or the money's first, and I always think it's the deal.
Yeah, it has to be the deal because there's unlimited money. There's money chasing everywhere I go. There's money.
Absolutely.
Lenders coming to me, equity people coming to me, and investors. And I know myself, I'm looking for deals. That's how I list and make money as an agent too.
I contacted this agent on a property I rode by, and he and I have known each other for years. And I'm like, hey, so about the property. Well, she's kind of at this price, and if she was to sell, but she's not really motivated because she doesn't know where to put the money. And I'm like, well, I know where she could put her money. I know of opportunities. So sometimes, like I said, as real estate agents, we only go so far in what we're thinking, what we know. And then, this whole syndication comes up, and then people are like, I've never heard of that. And so it's amazing how much that word is unknown to other real estate agents. And then a lot of times they don't know what to do with the money that they earn as income.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I like Grant Cardone's program, because he has a program for non-accredited investors. I think the starting is either $1,000 or $5,000. And what I really like about it is if you just write a check, he's got some solid real estate, mostly in Florida and Texas as well, some beautiful properties. But then you also get the statements, and you see online, and when you pay for something, you'll pay attention. So I know for me, I started with him a couple years ago. All of a sudden I started looking at the financials, and he would describe them in detail. It was like I was getting education while I was investing my money. And so I definitely encourage, for people who are looking to get started, it's a great place, I think, if you want, especially multifamily, it's a great place to start. Very inexpensively, very low risk, solid cash flow properties as well. But then if you're ready to step up a little bit, And the reason why we invite people like Kristine on our channel is not everybody's for everybody. There's a lot of different flavors of agents, properties, locations, product types. And so I always tell people, find somebody that you want to work with and see what they have to offer. So Kristine, I know you have a kind of a variety of different investment opportunities. I really appreciate that. And we'll put in the show notes, how people can get in touch with you again at Urbanize Properties in Florida.
There's a
Okay,
couple of
good.
people right now that I've been, look on social media. It's a good way, another way to meet people.
Yeah.
Obviously you've got to vet them because there's not so right people out there trying to do things. But there's a couple of 1031s that I've been able to work with on social media that they made a post and I grabbed it and they're in Florida. And so I picked up 2 clients this week just trying to, no problem. I might have liked that song. Some people that I've connected on social media, they're looking in Florida right now and they've got a couple of 1031s. It's due this month. So I'm working hard to help them as well as, hey, look, I might know of a syndication you put it in. Now, is that a benefit always to me? Because, hey, maybe there's not. But you know what? You always want to try to start with as bringing value as much as you can to people because you never know where it's going to show up later on down the road, right?
Definitely. Well, look, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, Kristine. It's always a pleasure to talk to Floridians. Like I said, the door's closed. My wife can't hear me. I'm going to be there in November and love to come and visit
Robbins or for Grant Cardone?
Family in November. So you know what? The truth is, I'm going to miss Tony Robbins because he's in the beginning of the month. Grant Cardone's the end of the month. They're kind of coming in the middle on a family thing. So I'm looking for something else to do while I'm there. I can't just sit around the pool and play golf for a week. I really need, for me, a vacation is going to a conference and then hitting the pool for an hour a day. So we'll see. But look, Kristine, it's a pleasure meeting with you.
If you're in town, I mean, I'm not far from Boca, so.
Yeah, no, I know we're in Miami, and usually we go to Aventura. Actually, where we usually end up anyhow.
That's great. That's where Annabelle.
Exactly, same place. Yeah. That's where Grant Cardone's headquarters is right there too.
Yep.
So, and then I'm Jewish and religious. And there's a lot of kosher places right there, so it's a great place for us to meet for
the community down here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So, Kristine, it's a pleasure. And again, urbanizeproperties.com is the website. flook.kristine@gmail.com. And you want to give us a phone number to reach you at, or is that the best way to get you?
Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat, 305-318-6366, 305-318-6366. Thank you so much. I always enjoy hanging out with Annabelle. I always enjoy talking with, people, and hopefully I added some value. If there's anything I can do to help, for sure.
You did. Good. Thank you so much, Kristine. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Have fun.